products that are environmentally sound, and I think that there are wonderful opportunities for us to be working together, especially in the area of the environment.
So, I mean, you can't give us concrete information as to when you're actually having meetings and how you're addressing this issue with your counterparts. We don't have dates. We don't know how many, how you're standing up for Canadians and forestry sectors. So, it's a little disconcerting that you can't say, look, these are dates that we're meeting. These are future dates that we have coming up. So can you tell us, how you're addressing this? What future dates have you scheduled?
For Canada's forestry sector. Thank you.
Minister, appreciate that. On to Ms. Gray for 6 minutes, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the Minister for being so accommodating and being with us here today. We appreciate it. Minister, you met with U.S. Trade Representative Tai on May 17th and 18th, and your readout says you discussed softwood lumber. These new tariffs were announced on May 21st. Did Ambassador Tai inform you of these tariffs, if they were increasing and if they were coming?
I want to thank the honourable member for that question. No, she did not. I did raise it. As I say, I always raise softwood lumber at every opportunity with U.S. interlocutors.
So is it a concern for you that Ambassador Tai didn't give you the courtesy of letting you know that this was coming, especially since it was so soon after your meeting?
I think I would say to the honourable member that the process for the administrative review, I understand, takes place through the Department of Commerce, and we were notified of the administrative review number 2.
So, Minister, have you met with or spoke with Ambassador Tai since the U.S. announced its intention to double the softwood lumber tariffs on May 21st?
The last meeting that I had with Ambassador Tai was also with Mexico. It was at the Free Trade Commission, where the three of us are committed to the successful implementation of the new NAFTA and ensuring that our efforts to global recovery, including that for the environment, for labor, and for inclusive growth, is something that we are all working on towards North American competitiveness.
So, Minister, you're saying that this announcement came just a few days after you met with the ambassador, and you didn't call her up and say, "What is this? What's going on?" You didn't pick up the phone and call her and say, what is going on?
I stand up for the Canadian softwood forestry sector and softwood lumber workers and businesses as a top priority. This is a very important sector that employs many, many Canadians, and it is my commitment to always defend their interests.
Okay, so Minister, did you meet with or speak with Ambassador Hillman since May 21st, since this announcement?
I'm in regular contact with Ambassador Hillman on a range of issues with respect to my file. So I always speak to the ambassador.
Since May 21st, have you spoken this matter?
Well, I would have to look specifically at my schedule. I'm in regular contact with the ambassador on matters of Canada-U.S. relations, particularly as it relates to my file.
So would you be able to table information as to when you were speaking with Ambassador Hillman on this matter since May 21st?
What I would say to the honourable member and to the forestry sector, and I appreciate all of the work that you do as a sector, but I will always defend your interests. We have been doing that. We will continue to do that and raise how unjustified these tariffs are.
Okay, Minister.
Indeed.
Minister, did you meet with or speak with U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo since May 21st?
I have had the opportunity to raise the issue of softwood lumber with the Commerce Secretary.
Since May 21st?
I have had the opportunity to speak to the Commerce Secretary about softwood lumber.
Okay. So what is the number of U.S. legislators at the federal or state level you've met with since May 21st as well?
I have had the opportunity to meet with labor representatives as well as legislators to advocate for Canada, for the softwood lumber industry. It is a top priority for me to stand up for Canadian businesses, particularly here in the forestry sector.
So, Minister, May 21st wasn't that long ago. So, how many U.S. legislators would you have met with? It wasn't really that long ago, in your best estimation.
Well, I think to the honourable member, what is really important here is that that Canada continues to defend our softwood lumber and forestry sector. We are very clear about the tariffs being unjustified. We also know that that these tariffs really are a tax on the American people because it makes it more difficult to do the work that needs to be around home building and affordable housing, and we know that Canadian softwood lumber is also terrific products that are environmentally sound, and I think that there are wonderful opportunities for us to be working together, especially in the area of the environment.
So, you can't give us concrete information as to when you're actually having meetings and how you're addressing this issue with your counterparts. We don't have dates. We don't know how many, how you're standing up for Canadians and forestry sectors. So, it's a little disconcerting that you can't say, look, these are dates that we're meeting. These are future dates that we have coming up. So can you tell us, how you're addressing this? What future dates have you scheduled to address this?
What I would say to the honourable member is that this is a file that is a top priority for me and for our government. Standing up for the forestry sector that employs so many people across this country against these unjustified tariffs is what we have been doing. But we have also been doing other work as well to help the industry also look and pursue diversification into other markets, which I'm very happy to also speak about.
So, Minister, you can understand how this is concerning. You have given us no information.
On to Mr. Dhaliwal for 6 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, for inviting me here, and I'm always pleased to speak to the committee. I'm very happy to provide you with an update on Canadian softwood lumber. Canada's forestry sector supports over 200,000 jobs in communities across the country, and in 2019 contributed $23.7 billion to our economy, or 1% of Canada's total GDP. Let me begin today by stating unequivocally that the duties imposed by the United States on Canadian softwood lumber are unwarranted and unfair, and they hurt workers and industry on both sides of the border. Les droits du douane imposés.
The duties imposed by the United States on Canadian softwood lumber are unjustified.
States has always relied on Canadian lumber products to meet its domestic needs for high-quality building materials, and with this year's overwhelming demand, this has never been more true. Last month, the U.S. Department of Commerce signaled in its second administrative review the intention to significantly increase duties on Canadian softwood lumber later this year. While the final report and resulting tariff rates will not be in place until November, we are disappointed by this unjustified development. U.S. duties on Canadian softwood lumber products are a tax on the American people. They make housing less affordable for Americans and hinder economic recovery. An increase would exacerbate the harm being caused to Canadian communities, as well as to U.S. home builders and consumers who are dealing with soaring lumber prices. We are not sitting idly by. I have raised these unfair duties at every opportunity possible, directly with President Biden, with U.S. Trade Representative Tai, and with Commerce Secretary Raimondo. And as we have always done, we will continue to vigorously defend Canada's forestry sector and the hundreds of thousands of jobs that it supports. We're taking a Team Canada approach, working hand in hand with the softwood lumber industry, labor unions, and provincial and territorial partners on all fronts. We have launched a series of challenges against the initial U.S. duties on softwood lumber through both at the World Trade Organization as well as through the new NAFTA. Our consistent and numerous legal victories clearly demonstrate our softwood industry is in full compliance with international trade rules and that Canada is a trading partner in good standing in the multilateral rules-based system. This year, while coping with challenges and restrictions, the forestry sector has stepped up to help keep Canadians safe. The industry has been vital to our supply chains, producing components for essential pandemic goods like PPE that Canadians have relied on. Other nations, including the United States, have also relied on Canadian exports of these components. I would like to thank our softwood lumber industry, and as we emerge from this pandemic, we will continue to be there for them. Je remercie notre industrie forestière.
I would like to thank our softwood lumber industry, and as we emerge from this pandemic, we will continue to be there for them.
We have made sure to support our industry and workers since 2017 through the Softwood Lumber Action Plan. Oh, excuse me, there is an incoming call that I need to turn off. We have made sure that our support for the industry and workers since 2017 through the Softwood Lumber Action Plan. And through the pandemic, we have supported our industry with around 8,500 forestry firms with a total of nearly $600 million through the government's emergency wage subsidy program. Our forestry sector is also playing a leadership role as we work towards an inclusive and sustainable long-term recovery. Canada's softwood lumber industry is a global leader in its commitment to sustainable development and environmental standards, helping to secure a more sustainable future for all Canadians. It is a perfect example of how the economy and the environment go hand in hand. Working together, we will be able to reach our target of net zero emissions by 2050. It is clear that we have so much to be proud of with our forestry sector and with softwood lumber. Our industry shows leadership on so many fronts, from environmental stewardship to innovation to global trade, while supporting hardworking Canadians and economic growth. Allow me to reiterate here my personal commitment to use every opportunity to raise softwood lumber with my U.S. interlocutors and to defend the interests of the Canadian forestry sector and forestry workers across the country. Notre gouvernement défend.
Our government will always stand up for Canada's.
Don't forget to like, dislike, subscribe, and comment. Safe Space Cafe. And always, have a good